My name is David Beseth. I'm a junior at Lemoyne College, and I'm studying business management and leadership. Um, I knew I hit rock bottom when I was at camp. I was at Young Life camp my senior year, and I got high with a sophomore in the bathroom, and that was a low moment in my life. Growing up, faith was not talked about in my house. God, Jesus, these things just weren't talked about in my house. My family did attend a Catholic church, though. We went to Holy Cross, and I grew up through Holy Cross. First communion, all the way up until confirmation. I went through all those programs. High school was tough for me. My freshman year of high school, I was 4 feet 11, and I had something that was called growth hormone disorder. But because of that, I felt isolated. I felt left out. I would get made fun of for it, and I feel like that caused me to really look for people's approval and validation. Since I felt already singled out, I felt this overwhelming need. In high school, I turned to substances, which took the place of God in my life. I was a stoner. I smoked a lot of weed. I also had a problem with alcohol in high school. I drank a lot. It started off as me just trying to be cool. I would do it in social gatherings, at parties and stuff, starting in my freshman year. And it turned into something other than that, though. It turned into something I would do by myself. It turned into something I would do several days a week, and then eventually it turned into something I would do every day. I felt most empty in the period of time after my senior year wrestling season ended. I lost in the section finals, and that ended up being my last match because I needed to win that to go to states. And losing that match, it devastated me. For the longest time, I didn't believe that I could achieve something like that. But my senior year, I finally had the confidence in myself and really believed that I could. And so making it to the section finals, and then I just froze in that match and I lost. And the period of time after that, I was really angry at myself, especially because in that match, there was one clear point where you could point to that if it just went a different way, if I didn't freeze, I probably would have won. Which was really hard. And in the weeks and the months after that, I turned to drugs and alcohol a lot more. And that's when my substance abuse problems really got worse. I was at Saranac at Young Life Camp. I thought about the way that I was living. And I thought about some specific moments where I realized I was hurting people I cared about, and I was hurting myself with the way I was living my life. So when I first understood that Jesus died on the cross for me, I was at Saranac at Young Life Camp, and I was sitting next to a tree, looking against the stump of it, and it was during the 15 minutes. And at Young Life Camp, we're given a period of 15 minutes where you're sent out to be by yourself so you can think and process what you just heard, which was the gospel of the crucifixion and what that means for our lives. So you just heard that, and now you're sent out, and this is where I am now. So I'm in this time to process and think about what I just heard, and I thought about my life back home. I thought about the way that I was living, and I thought about some specific moments where I realized I was hurting people I cared about, and I was hurting myself with the way I was living my life. And when I realized that, I thought back to what I just heard from the camp speaker about how Jesus died for my sins, that the gospel was for those things, personally for me, not just as this great big corporate thing, it's for everybody. But then, when you hear that, sometimes you don't really relate it back to yourself. But I really realized it's a personal thing. It's about me. I was living a life so drastically far from God. I was not happy, and I was just continuing to hurt myself and others. But then I came to this moment where I realized that had to change, and Jesus walked with me in that. So 2 Corinthians 5:17, it talks about the idea of being made a new creation in Christ. The old is gone, the new has come, it says. And I've seen that in myself, just in the way that I am now able to love people. I was not able to before. I was so caught up in, my own issues in my heart, but also like outwardly what I was doing with my life. The old had to go in order for me to become a new person so that I am now able to love others well. The old had to go, and Jesus, stepping into my life was able to rebuild me into a new person.